Hello, everyone. Diana Rankin here with your weekly messages and Phillip's soul message. And I have a collar down there, sorry. This is the 41st week of the year 2020. And this is October the 4th to the 10th. So I got to have my calendar in front of me to know what's going on. October the 4th to the 10th. And this week, it was a really rather exciting question for me because I deal with this all the time. And so it was kind of an interesting question as well. But our question this week is, when we die and go into spirit world, do we shed our human life all at once or in layers? And so we're going to get to that question very shortly. I want to first of all welcome every one of you. Welcome back, or those of you who are new to our channel. Thank you so much for coming. I welcome you. We also will get a message from our spirit, from Phillip, who is my spirit guide. And as you know, this book is just a wisdom on each page, and we just open a page up to be able to get our messages. So we'll get that at the end of our session here, or later in our session. And for those of you who are new, welcome so much. What we do on our weekly videos is you ask the questions and I provide the answers from Phillip. Now, as I say that, what I want you to please keep in mind, create questions that are of interest to everyone, not just personal questions. If you have personal questions, just make an appointment with me. You can get the information on how to do that below, and you can just either give me a phone call and we'll get you scheduled, or go ahead and send me an email. If you don't hear back within 48 hours, get back to me. I get a couple of hundred emails a day, and believe me, it's a chore to go through them. So anyway, we're going to get started and get this answer. And I just, like I say, this is exciting. And one of the things that really pleases me is Phillip always tells us what's going on. And then he also gives us hope. Whatever he says, we always, at least for me, I always walk away with hope. And I think that's true of most of you. So here we go. The question again is, when we die and go into spirit world, do we shed our human life all at once or in layers? Phillip answers. The answer is as varied as is each human's expression during their life on earth. This said, we will give you the broad brush of the different categories. It is only the bodhisattvas, or masters, who shed the human life as they enter spirit world. This is because these rare individuals have already spent time in both dimensions. They come into the human world to help others. They are the rare individuals who have fulfilled any human request and return to the earth plane for the purpose of healing the suffering. Kuan Yin comes to mind for me, one of my favorite stories, but that's for another time. At the opposite end of entering spirit world are those who have a quick and unexpected death, those who are in a drug haze, and those who are so saddened by their human life that they ended. We will discuss more about these individuals, but first we want to say that the vast majority of individuals have a peaceful transition. We will return to the vast majority to explain that transition, but first let's return to those who are unaware they are transitioning. We begin with those who have a quick and unexpected death. This often happens with an accident or a physical malfunction. Not everyone who leaves life in this manner will be unaware. Here we are talking about those who are not aware. And I will tell you, I have seen people still caught in the car after an accident, and Phillip's going to tell us how to help those individuals out. I have seen people who haven't realized that they've made that they haven't realized they've died, and they've just not yet made the transition. But more on that. These individuals may linger for some time in a fog or continue to remain in the conditions that took their life, such as remaining in the car that went over the cliff. They may continue their earthly life as well, but their bodies exist only in their thoughts, not in the third dimension. And that's kind of where we hear about a house being haunted. It could be that person doesn't yet know that they're in spirit world. In a moment, Phillip says, we will instruct you on how to help these individuals. First, let's continue and speak to those who die in a drug haze. This includes those who were given drugs and those who take them on their own. So what we're saying here, what Phillip is saying here, is there are times I've seen somebody who's made a transition. This is usually somebody who's been very ill, and maybe the doctors have given them drugs, and they're still lingering in their bodies, or not knowing the bodies are gone, but still kind of lingering in that haze. So again, we're going to find out what to do in these cases. And in some cases, this may include someone with dementia or Alzheimer's, but only in rare cases, and usually only occurs when the person is frightened of death. The third category is the person who ended their life. They are often confused by spirit world and may wander in a fog for some time, or think they failed and try to re-enter the third dimension. A reminder that shortly we will talk about the vast majority of people. First, we wish to instruct you on how to help those we've just spoken of. It's really quite simple. Talk to the person and tell them they are now in spirit world. Tell them to turn around and they will see the light in the fog. If the person is sleeping or drug-induced, you may have to ask them to wake up and repeat several times over a period of time. Tell them that a loved guide waits for them to help them. The guide is in the light, and light, by the way, is with a capital L. Once they have met with their guide, their journey will be similar to that of all others, which we will describe now. This is where the vast majority of us fit. When a human dies, that which they believe to be true will be their experience. If someone is fearful, they will be met with that which is fearful. If someone believes in love, they will be met with love. If someone believes in a religious figure or a spirit guide, they will be met by this. All who pass through the tunnel will be met by another. This may also be a loved family guide or a friend. Once met and welcomed, another being appears. This is always a familiar being who is trusted and appears in human form. You are then taken on a tour where all those you have loved in earth life have passed over, greet you, and welcome you. You are told your thought forms create that which you desire, and you are given a chance to try out this idea. You are then shown that which you loved in human form, and that which you felt you failed. You are given the choice of wearing earth clothes or a light robe of white. Since the body is only in the consciousness, an illusion, the choice does not matter. As you spend time in spirit world, you begin to shed that which you were attached to. This may happen quickly, or it may take many years. I just had lunch. It may take many years in earth time. At the beginning, you may recreate life at any age and in any circumstances of your choice. You may stay here for some time or quickly as you feel a tug to continue the journey. As you continue the journey, you will be schooled on what to change and how to prepare for the new earth life. Earth life is a privilege and needs to be regarded as such. The best way to prepare for a good death and afterlife is to have a good earth life. By this we mean to enjoy all that your life brings to you. Live a life of joy and laughter, tears and sorrow, and love it all. Death is not an escape from life. It is a continuation in a different form. I'm going to repeat that last sentence, or last two sentences. Death is not an escape from life. It is a continuation in a different form. Wow. Okay, we're going to get our message from Philip, or soul message, but I just want to tell you about one of my books. It's called The Found Child, and this is a work of fiction, but maybe not, but it is told in story form. And this particular book does take you on a journey through death and life again. So it's an interesting journey. It talks it gives the story of some of what Philip just explained to us. So if you're interested, it is available on Amazon.com. And I thank you. This one's also available on Amazon.com. So what we do with this is just flip through and open to any page. If you heard left, you're following my intuition. If you heard right page, then that's a message for you, and I'll read both of them. But the message for all of us is the one on the left page. And it says, when all else is lost, you still have yourself. You know, it always surprises me and doesn't, how the messages that we get in this book just match the message that Philip gave us, and matches the answer that Philip gave us to one of your questions. And I'm going to read that again, and I think it may take a little explanation. When all else is lost, you still have yourself. I want to remind you, Philip told us the best way to have a good death is to have a good life. And life is a privilege. And even when we feel all else is lost, it's not. We still have ourselves. And in truth, what else is there? Because we're creating it. Each of us. We create each moment. And in our creation of our lives, we help to create the collective. Let's create something really grand and beautiful and fun. If you heard the right, here's your message. Every book begins with a blank page. What blank pages are you filling in? What are you writing, my friend? Philip tells us life is a privilege. That doesn't make it easy. That doesn't mean it's going to be without sorrow. It doesn't mean it's going to be hunky-dory all the time. It's not. Think about the weather. When I was talking with the client the other day, we were having this great conversation, and in the conversation, during the hour of the session that we had together, the sun was out, and then, hi, Sherry, so glad to see you, thank you. But in this hour, the sun was out. Then a windstorm came through, followed by a thunderstorm, followed by sunshine, followed by just gray and overcast, followed by sunshine. All of that happened in the span of an hour. That's life, isn't it? That's our lives. We have the shadow, we have the light. They both have a purpose. Let them have a purpose in your life. So to have a good death, first have a good life. I love you, my friends. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for loving us. Thank you for all the love you send my way. I am so grateful. And thank you for accepting the love we send your way. Until we meet again.